Professor Dre. Dre, do you know what time it is?
No, what time is it?
It's time to make some freaking money. It's time to make some money this weekend. We've been hot. The teams are hot. It's a 5-game weekend in Prop City, the new name for Denver, because while it is a mile high, the profits are a mile high on props around these parts these days.
Insane.
Michael Porter Jr. props off the chain. Everyone we say is going to hit a home run just hits a home run on command.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know what else to do other than just keep picking darts and just throwing them and watching them hit.
Yeah, we're calling Avs goal scorers. I mean, it's just we can. Oh my God,
we
wrong.
called that too.
German Marquez strikeouts that has yet to miss. We're gonna get that on Sunday. I mean, it's truly Prop City. It's amazing. MPJ going 4 for 4 on his props yesterday, and we had the Story home run, which I had out there. It's been ridiculous, Ryan. It's been absurd. I think this is our first shades only week, and yeah, if you rode only with me, you made like 12 units this week alone, and that's a conservative estimate.
Yeah, honestly, and if you've just picked our Denver sports picks,
yeah,
I mean, congratulations. Sorry for all the taxes you're going to have to pay on these winnings.
Pretty much. Yeah, we're sorry we just gave you a second job, a second stream of income.
Our deepest apologies.
Yeah,
we've got 5 games this weekend. Unfortunately, we're going to have to mine the props and maybe tell the people about how we're feeling later on, just because DraftKings doesn't have props available on all this stuff right off the bat. With that being said, we can usually guess where these things are going to be, so we can get into a preview of that here in a second. We'll talk about all 5 of these games, or especially the main 3 that we're going to talk about here. Avs Nuggets tomorrow, Rockies tonight, and then we'll give a little preview of the rest of the series there for the Rockies as well. But before we do that, we talked a little bit about the props hitting, Dre, but just about everything's hitting around here right now.
Insane. Yeah, it's been wild. The Rockies can do no wrong. The Avs are, they've gone 2 for 2, winning both games and in different ways, but it really hasn't mattered how they're getting it done. They're just getting it done. Both goalies in goal. They're locked into one of the top 2 seeds, so we've got that to look forward to. And the Nuggets, even though they've gone 2-2 this week and, 500, despite all the injuries, we've had this emergence of MPJ, which has just been otherworldly. I also think a Nuggets game has yet to go under, even though it's risen steadily from 218 to 228 to 232. They have yet to go even close to the under. So yeah, it's just kind of been easy to predict with the injuries and how things are going. We'll see how this weekend treats us.
Yeah, Money Printer Jr. is 8-0 on his props over the course of 2 games since they started giving us MPJ props. He's yet to not hit one. Yesterday, the unders on the Rockies are cashing just like crazy. I think I'm up to 6-1 on Rockies unders, and now they're leaving. So they played 7 games at Coors Field, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yep.
And 6 of them went under, and one of them was going to go under before Wade Davis blew it. So we hit another one of those yesterday, a 6-4 game, which is funny. Like, these are high-scoring baseball games that they're just setting the under so high, the over so high, that we'll hit the under and cash in on that. It goes way down tonight with the Rockies, but I mean, as we've gone through here, like, we're basically just going back to the well on everything we've been doing, and it keeps paying off.
Yeah, the under 6.5 at Coors Field in the first 5 innings has also been automatic. I was chatting with some guys on Twitter who are saying, yeah, that's another one you got to cash in every single day if the Rockies are at Coors Field, because it's just been automatic with their their starters have yet to, knock on wood, outside of Chichi Gonzalez, but then Chichi Gonzalez had Jeff Hoffman come in and help him out. So, one prop that didn't hit yesterday was Kyle Freeland with the win, and that was similar to that Wade Davis under, where, I mean, we were 1 pitch away from getting that one to hit too, and that's baseball for you. It can be such a fickle sport. It just comes down to 1 pitch, 1 at bat, and everything gets flipped. But that was really close too. Yeah, it's just been kind of wild.
So tonight with the Rockies, or anything else we need to cover on what happened yesterday?
No, I gave out some bad baseball picks, so I was like 6-5 in the end. But what really saved me was the story prop. Him hitting a homer. We were due, so came through, and that was an easy plus 300 to make everything else great. And I did give myself the more valuable prop of all, which I was giving out on Twitter, which was the MPJ double. That came in at plus 163. That hit by like the third quarter.
Easy money.
Yeah.
Easy money. So let's get into tonight's Rockies game. You got Antonio Senzatella on the mound for the Rockies. Seattle's throwing out. I'm not even going to give an attempt at his name. Yeah, I am. Yusi Kikuchi.
There you go. Your guess is better than mine. I like it.
And he must be solid. No, I'm just saying, like, he's off to a good start this season. The Mariners themselves are not off to a good start, but the Rockies here, man, it just still feels like that they aren't getting any respect. The Rockies underdogs in this one against a reeling Mariners team.
Yeah, and I had to reach out to our guy Patrick Lyons, who really knows, the whole MLB so well, and said, how much does Kikuchi scare you here? Because it seemed like the sports book with where the under was set, with where the Rockies line is set, we'll get into that in a second. The fact that Kikuchi was the first of the two starting pitchers to have a K line set for him. And it just seems like he's getting really overvalued for one nice start against the A's in his last outing where he had 9 Ks that went to 10 innings or whatever. But his previous start against the Astros was a pretty rough one. And, last year in his first year starting coming from the Japanese league, he was average at best. So it seems like they're giving a lot of respect to this lefty. And we just saw the Rockies handle a more veteran lefty at Coors Field much better. But this game just goes to show you what a massive variance there is with the Rockies lines when they play at Coors Field and when they play on the road.
And the unfortunate thing here is, Drew Kreisman, our guy at DNVR Rockies, talks a lot about how people don't talk about how much of a disadvantage it is for the Rockies to travel from altitude to sea level. That's the first time. Well, I guess it's not really the first time we were going to see it because their spring training was at Coors. So they went from Coors down to Texas.
Yep.
They took 2 of 3, but they did score 0 runs in that first game. So
yeah,
just something to be weary of. It still doesn't scare me. And you mentioned it. I mean, I'll just get right to it because this is my favorite line out there. Over under 3.5 for the Rockies themselves. That feels juicy.
So Kikuchi, a guy who this year and last year ERA around 5. Like you and I don't really know him. He's not like some ace. The Mariners are a rebuilding team. This entire squad isn't like loaded with talent, and that includes the bullpen. And so Vegas, who's been setting these overs at insane numbers for this Rockies lineup, that's been doing a pretty good job. I mean, the big names are showing up, is now saying they're going to Seattle against this like middling at best pitcher and staff, and all they're going to get is 3 runs.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And what also kind of baffles me here is you go into the hits, because I thought, oh boy, they're saying that this Rockies team is going to get shut down tonight, so we're going to get some value on these hitters. No, they think all these guys are going to get hits.
What gives here, man?
Nolan Arenado set at over under 0.5 hits, but it's minus 225. And Trev is minus 235, and Charlie is minus 240, and Dahl is minus 235. The only acceptable payout here is Ryan McMahon at minus 152, and I don't think either of you are in love. Either of you or I are in love with that either.
Yeah.
So, but that's they think that there's going to be runners on base based on that,
right?
And the Rockies have done a pretty good job of getting those guys to touch home when they get them out there recently.
And the first 5 innings, the line set at 4.5. And because I bet on this a lot, the Rockies have played a lot of first 5 innings where we got right around that 5 or 6 threshold. So the over 4.5 seems pretty juicy there too.
Yeah, it absolutely does. I think this is a sucker's bet And I haven't learned my lesson on it yet, so I might be a sucker here. But I kind of like Antonio Senzatella to record a win at plus 230.
I'm kind of with you at that value, right?
Right, exactly.
And
I do think this is a sucker's bet.
Yes, yeah, that probably even more so than the K line, which is set at 4.5 here, which right around a stay away for me. But
yep.
Yeah, and like even I do like the under though for their pitcher at 4.5 under plus 125. I think that
strikeouts.
Yeah, that seems pretty doable. I think he was only averaging like 3.6 per outing last year. So again, there's a lot of overvaluing their starter just based off of one good outing in his last game against the A's, which can be a bit hit or miss. So yeah, there's plenty of props there. How do you feel about the over in general? I think we both like the money line here. I mean, we can agree. If anything, this should be both teams at minus 110, not the Rockies at plus 110.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I like the money line. But my lock of this game is Rockies over 3.5. I think they're going to go over that easily. So the 8.5 number feels like it's in a good spot for me. I don't love the over, although if I had to pick, I probably would pick the over.
Yeah.
But I'm on a stay away on the over under. I love the Rockies over 3.5 though.
Yeah, I think I'm more bullish on the over in the first 5, just because I feel like we know these starters a bit more, and I think the Rockies will be able to jump on them. Though there is to consider the moving from altitude to sea level and what that could do to them. But
yeah, it's something you always have to be aware of, and the truth is, it's actually probably more worrisome when they go from sea level back up to altitude, where that kind of plays a role, because the body reacts the same way as it would for a road team, at least in the first, amount of hours, however you want to get into the science of that. But yeah, I like Rockies over 3.5, and to be honest, I like that Senza to record a win. I like the money line, and as a since we're throwing darts on props, I kind of like Nolan Arenado to hit a home run tonight. I think he gets back on the horse.
Interesting. Yeah, and I like the Rockies over 3.5, and I like their pitcher under the 4.5 strikeouts. So on top of the money line. So there we go. I think we're both down for 4, right?
Those weren't officials for me.
Okay.
I'm conservative with my officials, but I am going official in on the Rockies over 3.5, and I'll chase a little bit of value here and go down officially on Senza to record a win, which is essentially betting on the Rockies money line.
Wow. Yes. Essentially, yes.
But what I mean is, you need the Rockies money line to hit for that to work.
Yeah, among other things, yeah.
Right. So you see what I'm saying.
I'm with you.
My confidence in Rockies money line is being pushed into the Senzatello to win bet.
Right. Okay. Now, should we keep on the Rockies, since it's going to be in Seattle the rest of the weekend? We won't know the starter. We don't know the starter for Saturday quite yet. On the Rockies end.
For Sunday, you mean? Oh no, Saturday. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Saturday, because Sunday it will be Herman, and I will be taking the over K's if that remains set at 5.5, and I'm guessing it will. I'll be interested to see what we can get Herman to win.
To record a win, yeah,
because that'll be a good one. But with Chichi Gonzalez, we just saw Juan Pablo's note there for us that Chichi's been placed on the 10-day IL. I can only imagine it'll be Jeff Hoffman who relieved Chichi in that last start and looked really good and has always been kind of in that mix to be the 5th starter. So I don't know about that one. I would say tread lightly on that one.
I was just going to say, I'll tell you right now, that's a stay away for me.
Yeah.
I have no trust in Jeff Hoffman as a starter, and like him giving up 6 runs in the first wouldn't surprise me at all.
Totally. And I mean, Look, just like my parlays, I don't think we can expect the Rockies to sweep all these series, but to expect the 3-2-1 in Seattle would make a lot of sense, especially with Herman pitching on Sunday and Senza having the advantage today. So if the one is going to come, it's probably Saturday. So just
are you saying the Rockies are going to be sweepless in Seattle?
Oh, Ryan, that one I told you way back when.
Is it?
I think so. It was some variation of sweepless in Seattle. Yeah, I do. I am saying there'll be sweepless in Seattle. That's what I'm thinking.
How did you pull that on me? Like, what was the context that you might have used that in?
There was. Oh man. Yeah, it was a complex. I'll rethink this, but there was a headline where I thought we missed an opportunity. But yeah, what would the sporting event have been for that to be relevant? Is
like the Rapids?
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, that's funny. I can't believe that was just sitting in my brain, and it was because of you. But I'll give you the credit for it.
I mean, who knows? Now it's possible. Mine was another variation of sweepless or sleepless in Seattle. Okay, so then we have the Avs against the Golden Knights on Saturday. That game is all in for the 1 seed. Both those teams are 2-0 against the Blues and Stars, so they're playing for all the marbles, supposedly, though anything can happen in the NHL. Yes, Ryan?
Andre, do you realize we are inside 24 hours to when that game will probably happen, and it still hasn't been scheduled?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, what if they just never set a time?
What if they just they do a coin flip and Golden Knights and Avs agree that they don't really care who has the 1 or the 2 seed?
That I would be on board with that.
I mean, the Blackhawks could beat the Oilers tonight and close that series out. So the 5th seed, which was the one you wanted to avoid as the 4 seed, doesn't even matter anymore.
Well, right, but the 1 is going to get that 12 no matter what. Because they're reseeding everything, and they're going to reseed after the round. So,
right.
Yeah, the 1 seed might end up playing Chicago.
Yep. Yeah. No, that is the selling point. And we do
even
have
then, I don't love that. Like, I don't like playing a team that just pulled off a huge upset. There's nothing great about any of this.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The 2 seed would kind of be better to like lose mercifully, right?
I don't know. I just, to me, like, there's no great outcome here. It's just I shouldn't say there's no great outcome. It's just everything. You're just gonna have to go win hockey games, and you're not going to pull a Michael Malone here and play Puppet Master and set up the matchup you love. Like, just go get the 1 seed. Bring on in Chicago. That's fine. If you get the 2 seed, that's fine. Bring in whoever the hell that is, and just go kick their asses. Like, that's what you got to do. You're a Cup favorite team.
Yeah, you're right. Line here: Knights slight favorites at -105. Avs a classic pick 'em at -110. What's really interesting is the over set at 5.
That makes the Avs the favorites, by the way.
Oh, sorry, you're right. My bad on that.
It's all good.
And over under though 5.5.
That's too high.
Very high.
Yep.
Well, the Avs haven't gone higher than 4 these first 2 games. The Knights have beat the Blues 6-4, beat the Stars 5-3. So they're the ones bringing all the scoring here. I don't know. The way the Avs have looked, they're just so deep and so solid on both ends. I kind of think that they're the ones who keep this under, right?
Yeah, what's crazy is we don't know who's going to start either. Bedsy didn't give that up today. So, we were talking about this with Rudo on the Denver Sports Podcast, and he said there's an unwritten rule in hockey. If you get a shutout, you start the next game. So that would be Frankie. But he said, Bednar has disobeyed that unwritten rule once before, and he also made the point that both goalies have said, we prefer to have a little bit of rhythm. The more games we start in a row, the better we start. So you're not like, if you start Frankie here, you're kind of committed to, you're also starting him in game 1 of your playoff series. And to me, I'm actually team Frankie in all this. I like Grubauer, and I think that he has the ability to get hot, and I trust Rudo when he says if there's anyone who's going to get hot, he thinks it's Grubauer. I have a good feeling about Frankie. I don't know how to explain it. So I kind of hope he gets the start, but it does seem like just Rudo is leaning towards he thinks it's Grubauer. He put up a similar performance, if not better, against a better team.
Yeah, from an outside perspective, I would kind of guess that was the plan. We only have 3 games, so Frankie's going to get the sandwich one. And it does send kind of a strong signal if you were to start Frankie here in the all-in game for the 1 seed in the West,
Yeah, I mean, you're you're hitching your wagon at that point.
Yeah, to Frankie, right.
Unless of course he falls on his face, and now you're in a worse place because now you're saying, "Oh, Groovy, go save us." It's a tough place. These are the decisions that make these guys millionaires. I think he probably just leans back on Groovy was my number 1 goaltender. That's who I'm going with.
Yeah, I think you have to stick to that and not base everything off of performance in the bubble. I'll say this, since we do have props, isn't it kind of crazy that Nate hasn't scored yet? I mean, Mac hasn't gone in goal yet. I stupidly went away, made a prop when I suggested the Cale Makar one and backed off Cale Makar and put Nate in that prop. And it didn't happen. Cale Makar, of course, did. So I'm going back to the well, and at plus 165, it's not great value, but he has to score, right? And the Knights are letting anyone score, so.
Okay, so just one thing I want to say on this. Wait to get money down on this, or I would if I were you. Because I think that if Chicago wins tonight, this game, from a coaching perspective and from an organizational perspective, you're saying we want the 12th. We want the 12th best team on our side of the bracket.
Yes.
If they don't, I think you almost look at this and say we don't care what happens tomorrow, and there's a chance that they could really alter the lineup and sit a guy like Nathan McKinnon. Now in hockey, it's weird because you got it. You have to have guys out there. It's really hard. You can't scratch everyone. But you can scratch a couple guys. I would just be weary of that from a prop betting perspective. Is just see what happens tonight before you commit to anything, and then play it from there.
Well, that's sound advice. And to a lesser extent, but similar extent, I feel the same way about Rantanen. I've waited how many months to watch, Mac and the Big Moose score goals. That's what they do, So that drought will end very soon. So
it'd be sweet. I don't even know if I should say this around you, but it's a good thing it's not possible. It'd be sweet if you could parlay them both to score.
Yes, that would be sweet. You could points are in play too, but you're giving up a lot of value.
Yeah. But you could, rack them up with those two giving each other, appling each other up. Yeah. Okay. That is everything. We didn't talk about the Nuggets yet.
We have the Nuggets.
And of course, we also have to talk about DraftKings Sportsbook. Yes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. There's actually a DraftKings billboard truck driving by as I speak. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DNVR when you sign up. For a limited time, all new users can get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. That's right. DraftKings Sportsbook has a sign-up bonus up to $1,000 for anyone who uses the code DNVR. Don't forget to enter that code DNVR to get your sign-up bonus. Get in on all this fun stuff. I'm going to talk about it in a second here, but we had some fun golf props available this weekend. Always great little Denver sports specials that they like to sprinkle in. Profit boosts, all of that stuff. Stuff you cannot get from a bookie, to be completely honest. But you can get it from DraftKings Sportsbook. And it's a great bit of fun. So head over to DraftKings Sportsbook. You must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus and first bet match, each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires a 25x playthrough and restrictions to apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
Okay. This is a really interesting one, and I know you were talking about Harrison Wind and the ideal scenarios for the Nuggets and, kind of the reasons for even staying in that 3 seed. And this game on Saturday becomes really interesting because who Harrison was saying would be their most appealing opponent in round one is exactly who they'll be playing, the Utah Jazz. So I guess the play here should be to beat the Jazz so you're more locked into the 3rd seed and they can move down to the 6th seed and be who you get to play.
Yeah, you want to beat them.
Okay. We are trying to win.
What's crazy here is, and it's a bummer that you can't get in on these things early. I've been telling Harrison that I think, well, and Harrison and I were talking about this last night, and we both agreed. So I guess I didn't tell him this. We just agreed on this.
Yeah.
The Nuggets, I feel like, want to have at least a 3-game ramp up with their actual players. Now, I don't know if the Jamal Murray thing is legitimate or protection. I lean towards it being protection, but I don't actually know. I just think at the worst, if I'm a coach, I want to see a 3-game ramp up. Now, this would be a 4-game ramp up if he comes in here. So I'm kind of saying I don't expect him to play. And that just – it's hard to bet on the Nuggets right now when those guys aren't playing. Like, I'll go back to the prop well and hammer on some MPJ props, but I don't love – it's hard. It's really hard making money line plays on this team right now when they have no guards.
Absolutely, especially because, look, these are the 22 best teams in the NBA. The Nuggets have a Western Conference heavy schedule. It's a murderer's row, man. You're playing Chris Paul. You're playing Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Yeah, Dame, and McCollum. I mean, and get ready. Donovan Mitchell's coming to town because that's who Monte and PJ Dozier and those guys will have their hands full dealing with in this game, on top of Mike Conley. So no, you're absolutely right. I'll be interested to see where the over's set because right now, similar to where they can't set an MPJ prop high enough. And I'm telling you, I doubt this is any higher than like 20.5.
I think they crank it up a little bit. I think it at least goes to 21.5.
That I could see 21.5, and then you go from 28.5 combined points, rebounds, assists to 30.5. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You can't raise it much more than like 2-3 numbers, Ryan. You just
unless they don't want action on it.
Right. You either take that down, but you say just set it at an otherworldly number where it's like stupid to pick the over.
Well, I mean, you could probably capitalize on the hype and say like, yeah, we're setting his over under on points at 26.5, and see if people want to take that number. The crazy thing is like, I don't even feel bad about that if you set it at 26.5.
I just know TJ Warren, who went off for 50 and then like 30, his number was set at 24.5,
and he flopped.
But I think that's kind of the ceiling, right?
Yeah, that's true. They're not going to set it that high. They just aren't.
So I think it's still going to be like 2.5 threes. It's still going to be around low 30s, rebounds, assists, boards combined, which he went on just off the top of my head. He went off for 41 combined last night. Does that sound right? Like, dude, it's stupid.
No, he doesn't even need assists for any of these numbers.
No, and the points, I think, yeah, like you said, 21.5 is kind of the max.
He scored 10 in like the first 5 minutes last night.
Oh, I mean, the first 3 minutes, you knew it was over, over. And if double doubles is there again, that's probably going to be decent value too. So, yeah, I think you just hammer those. You probably hammer the over as well.
Now, if you give me Jamal Murray in the lineup, it changes everything. Now I'm picking the Nuggets to win.
Yes, but still, I like MPJ props and it's guys like Barton and Harris who have to come in for me to start considering the under, and not be bullish on that.
Jamal Murray comes into the game. I'm hammering the over 3-point line for MPJ because as we were talking with Harrison, you go from this 2-man game to a 3-man game where Jokic and Murray are running the pick and roll, and it sucks in the defense, and MPJ shooting open corner threes.
Yeah.
So there's going to be options here, and I kind of like us having to talk about it hypothetically, because then we get to see how it actually turns out. Maybe they move it up to 3.5, and we have to adjust what we're doing. So
right,
we'll try to be on top of the Twitter account tomorrow and pump out some lines that we really like once we actually see them. But you get an idea for where we like these things right now.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, we should it's. If you had to rank, and this would be another prop I'd love to see as MPJ blocks, because if you had to rank the Nuggets' best rim protectors, where does MPJ fall on that list? It has to be Grant Bull in some order, 1, 2, right?
Yeah.
Is he above Plumlee in the third spot?
Maybe. I don't know.
He's insane, man. He's so talented.
Dude, he's a 6'10", 6'11" athletic freak. Like, he does everything effortlessly and well.
It's so dumb how good he is.
He has an elite defensive ceiling. He's nowhere near it right now, but like, there's nothing stopping him from being elite in every facet of the game.
No, it's really wild. And I mean, rarely have I had more fun rooting for a prop than like these props. Like, it's so fun to root him on and just be invested in every bucket, every board he gets. It's awesome.
Well, and then, when the ball leaves his hands, you think it's going in every single time. And it usually does.
It is, yes.
Yeah, so.
He's scoring at like a criminally efficient clip right now. Also, man, we should shout out to our guy Spence. His pick of Xander Schauffele still looking good as we're going into final cuts today.
Yeah, and so that's the one I wanted to talk about. Tiger Woods, he is through 9 holes, it looks like, or 8 or 9 holes, and I'm not sure if I've refreshed. He's 1 under, which is healthily inside the cut, but the cut right now is projected to be at 1 over. So as long as Tiger stays on the straight and narrow, that's going to hit, which will be a big one for me. Otherwise, that would suck, but he's in there. And then my guy Justin Thomas, I'm scared to look because he didn't start off well, but
JT.
Maybe he's jumped up. I don't know. Oh, look at him. He's making plays out here. He's 1 under, 2 under on the round, 1 under on the tournament. Right there with Tiger. So chance for him to make a little move.
All right.
The top of the leaderboard is flush with some big rounds today. Cameron Champ shot 6 under. Tommy Fleetwood shot 6 under. And then Haotong Lee all alone at the top, -8. And he was throwing darts. He shot 5 under today. So should be a fun weekend. Hopefully, Tiger and JT and some of these bigger names jump up there and challenge these guys at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, and this UFC card on Saturday, it's one of those main cards where I don't see a single favorite over -200. So all of these are closely matched. Even if you go a favorites only parlay, it's not going to be super. You're not going to lose a ton of value. I do like a bit of an upset in the main event with Alexei Oleinik. We've seen him before. He's always tough. Derek Lewis, man, he can change any fight with one punch, but he's a tough guy to root for. So getting Oleinik in the plus 170s, 180s, I like that. Chris Weedham, a slight favorite, might be another pick for me. And then Beneil Dariush at -185 would be the other pick I'd have. And we have Champions League action now, Ryan.
I don't care.
I would take Barcelona to advance. Yes, and they're ahead. Wolves will survive. We'll talk about them next week. That's the beauty, is we have more European soccer in August, and then they're back to playing leagues again in September. It's going to be amazing. So, yeah, I would. But, Bayern's basically a shoo-in because they won the first leg by a mile against Chelsea, so no value in Chelsea whatsoever. Napoli might be a little value as an underdog, but they have to win outright. They can't just sit on the 1-1 aggregate, and against Barcelona, I think that's tough. So I'd take Barcelona to advance and maybe parlay that with Bayern, and you can add a little value that way.
Trey, my homework assignment for the weekend for you is no parlays allowed.
Okay. I'll do that.
I don't think so. But
I think the rest of the people, though, should also follow that advice. Not do parlays. Just take my pick straight up, because I'm like plus 24 units. I know I'm like 19-6 on Colorado picks. You're something absurd as well. You're probably like 18-2 still.
I think I have 4 or 5
18-4.
losses. Yeah, something absurd. We'll have that number for you on Monday after we see how things go this weekend.
Redonkulous. And Ali's paying attention to all these unraveling NHL series. So lots of upsets, lots of value. We're doing great doing on the local team. So what a week, man. It's fun to have real sports back.
It's great to have real sports back. If you guys are looking for something to do, somewhere to watch the game tomorrow, it's first come, first serve at the DNVR bar. Triple header. We still don't know what time the Avs game is, but it's going to be an amazing day at the DNVR bar. Regardless of where you watch, though, please enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there, and good luck on all your bets. We'll see you guys on Monday.